I started working at Summer State Prison July 17th, 1987.
Tom started working as a prison guard when he was just 23 years old and felt that he didn't have a lot of options. He was a correctional officer assigned to the custody and control of the inmates. At the time, Summers Prison was the only maximum security level 5 prison in the state of Connecticut.
Working in a prison environment is very stressful. There's a lot of divorce, there's a lot of alcoholism, drug problems. I've seen it firsthand with some family members and friends. There's a lot of suicide. A lot of my friends killed themselves over the years. The first 5 years that I worked in maximum security was very stressful. I drank a lot, and it affected my life with, at the time, my girlfriend, who was now my wife. And, it makes for a very hard life to try to come out of the prison and being in a prison environment and coming out and being normal on the outside, because most civilians would just never understand what it's like to be in that prison and what it's like. So inmates you can't just describe them as a whole. It's just all different people. It's like a big high school. There's just millions of different personalities in there, and it's run like that. It's 98% normal routine. You let them go to eat, you lock them back up, you let them go to chow or to the rec yard or to work or to the library. You lock them back up, you count them several times a day. 98% normal routine, but then there's 2% absolute pandemonium where they're killing each other or stabbing each other or assaulting officers or burning the place. I've seen it all. I've seen assaults in the prison. I've seen officers assaulted. I've seen inmates assaulted. I've seen inmates murdered. The fashion that they do some of the violence with is almost primitive.
Although Tom was never seriously injured in prison, other guards and inmates were not so lucky.
Another inmate ran out of the block next door to mine, ran across the hall and stabbed him in the throat. That's the only one I actually saw right in front of my face, one time in 20 years. I've responded to, I can't count how many, where I got to the block to break the fight up or whatever it was, and seeing the person laying there. The factories at Summers, we had clothing factory, furniture factory, some type of a reprographics. They did forms, all the state forms. They used to build all the state furniture. They made all their own clothes, sheets. They had a big laundry. They had an optical shop. They made glasses for all the prisoners in the state. A baseball cap factory that was an outside company that the inmates could actually make more money working in this job. Because I think like most inmates made like 75 cents a day working in the factories. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but being locked up, they had the commissary. They could buy little things in the commissary with that money, or send it home, or do whatever they wished with it. The last 3 years in corrections, most officers try to work as much overtime as possible to increase their salary for retirement. And I did that for my 16th, 17th, 18th years, somewhere around there. And that was tough again, but knowing that it had a great benefit to doing it, I did it, and I suffered through it. My wife did suffer through it with me, but it was for good benefit, and we worked through it very well. It was double shifts every day, Monday through Friday as much as possible, but it wasn't back-to-back shifts. In my case, transportation operates 4 in the morning to 12 noon and 4 in the afternoon to 12 midnight, so between having 100 miles combined driving time to work, which is about 2 hours of driving a day, I was only coming home to sleep for about 2 hours twice a day. So it was hard, but it was all worth it in the end, and I got through and I retired exactly 20 years after I started.